Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today we have the DYU King 750, an electric bike with a unique design, awesome power, long range, high speed. This bike packs some impressive spec here. So what we're going to do today is show you how to do the unboxing, set up this electric bike, show you all the specification, do a detailed walkthrough, do some performance testing such as range, hill climbing, acceleration, brake testing, and then we're going to end our review with our honest opinion about this electric bike. If you're new to the channel, we review e-bikes, electric scooters, and Tesla accessories. If you like what you see here today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Here's the inside packaging. As you can see, this follows a traditional method of packaging with a lot of foam. So it's going to take us a while to get through this, but looks like this wheel is installed. This wheel, we're going to have to install the front wheel. Again, a typical process, and DYU does a really good job of packaging this stuff. Then it comes as a one big piece that you can remove from the box. So we're going to go through all this foam, remove it, and set up the front wheel. So this is everything that the hardware box has. I mean, they have some legit heavy-duty tools rather than a little packet of the mini tools. They actually put full-size tools, so that's awesome. There's your bell here. Here are your pedals, mark left and right. This is your rear reflector. This is the charger. And then this is your heavy-duty kickstand. I mean, this thing is awesome. So we're gonna start with that. Actually, we're going to install this right here using the Allen key so that we can put the bike in a kickstand. But I really like this kickstand. So how this works is you are going to actually put this behind here, and then you're going to put this screws through, so that because this side right here, this hole actually is threaded for the screw. So we're gonna put it right here and put the screw to secure this. So after you secure this fully, this is what it looks like. Here's the kickstand, and we can go ahead and install the rest of the pieces. Next, we are going to be installing this here, the handlebars, and it's a pretty straightforward process. You just want to make sure your brakes here and all the power button and everything is on the left hand side, and then that is on the right hand side. And all we are going to do is remove this 4 Allen screws from here and then put that bracket right here and then secure it. This is a pretty typical process for bike assembly. So we're going to start with removing those and then put it on the groove area and then secure it. So this is what it looks like after you install it fully. And this screen, you can adjust the angle a little bit to make it face towards you. Then the installation of the seat is a pretty straightforward process. Just keep in mind this has a suspension seat post. So we're going to be installing that right there. And for the headlight, it's a pretty straightforward process. You just remove it and install it here. And since this didn't come with a fender, we don't have to worry about it. If the fender was included in the packaging, then we would install the headlight and the fender together here. For the pedals, you just thread this in, and these are leveled right and left. So just align the ones and then you thread it in here. So for the front wheel, we have got those slit on the fork, and all you have to do is rest it on the axle and then tighten it. Just make sure that the disc brake rotor is aligned with the front brakes here, and these are hydraulic brakes, and just make sure that the brake pads are grabbing onto the rotor. As you see right here, that axle is aligned with the fork on both sides, and the disc in the middle is inserted between those two pads for the disc brakes. So now we can just go ahead and secure this. So we have finished setting up this bike. Just take out the battery and charge it fully or plug it in directly. You need the key that is hung here with the zip tie, and you can charge the battery. So my battery is charging, and I'm gonna take it out on a ride as soon as it is fully charged. Your tires might be deflated during shipping, so I would recommend inflating this to, it says up to 20 psi, so somewhere between 15 and 20. Let's do a complete specification walkthrough of the DYU King 750. Just looking at this electric bike, there are so many things that jumps out and stand out, in my opinion, compared to some of the other electric bikes we have reviewed in our channel. First of all, this is not a typical DYU e-bike. We are so used to reviewing e-bikes from DYU that are just, very small, like the S10 that made us look very funny riding it here, or even the R1, and then the DYU FF500 that we reviewed several months ago was actually an upgrade because it started seeing some of those fat tires, but this one tops it all. This is the biggest bike that DYU makes, and we have been asking DYU for an off-road capable, a true off-road capable electric bike, and DYU listened and delivered well. Now, the wheel size for this one, these are large tires. These are 26-inch by 4-inch, so it has the full 4-inch width on the fat tires here with really nice tread. As you can see, we took it a little bit on the dust here. It's a dust resistant, and it does a really well job of going between different paved surfaces or the road, off-road. It is very capable for that. So those are the tire sizes. The motor is a 750 watt motor that peaks at around 1000 watt, and they say that you can go all the way up to 15-degree hills. We're gonna do some testing here, but the motor should be very capable motor. They are using this battery design that is very unique too, because typically DYU puts their batteries inside the casing, but this one is built in within the stem. That's why the stem looks a little bit big here, because the battery is built in there. There's a key that we can use that you can see from the other side here, where we can use that key and then pop that battery out and you can charge it. Now this battery is made by LG, and it has high quality cells, and LG has never disappointed us, or Samsung, but this one is from LG, and it is a high quality battery that has a 20 amp power capacity. I mean, if you have been following our channel, we don't get a lot of those electric bikes that have that high of a capacity. We kind of get 14 amp hour. The max was what, 17 amp hour recently with the KBO Ranger. So going to a 20 amp hour, that is pretty impressive. And DYU claims that you can get over 60 miles with throttle and pedal assist, and we're going to test that here in the channel as well. So battery, very impressive. It also has a front fork suspension that helps you absorb some of those bumps, and then a seat post suspension on the rear. So they are using both suspension types here in the front as well as in the rear. I do wish that they had put a hydraulic suspension right about here to absorb some of those bumps, especially for a electric bike in this class, and for some of the off-roading that you might want to do. But the seat port suspension should do a really good job. We'll tell you towards the end of the video how we feel about riding this electric bike for an extended period of time. Then they are using hydraulic brakes. So that is a big ask. Even we made that even with the FF 500 last time when we were reviewing that, because they were using a mechanical disc brake, but these are hydraulic disc brakes. So full hydraulic disc brake on both front and rear, and big fan of hydraulic brake because they are more sensitive. They help you come to a complete stop even from very, very fast speeds. They're just better than regular disc brakes, and especially for a bike that can go really fast, which another spec for this is that this can go up to 28 miles per hour. I mean, that is impressive because we typically only see 15 to 20 miles per hour. The max we have seen recently was 22 to 24, so going all the way to 28, that is impressive. We're gonna test that here in the channel. As far as some of the dimensions, I'm going to list all the dimensions down below in the description and link to DYU's website. This is a pretty tall electric bike, so if you are under 5'9", probably look for a different version, because at 5'9", I have to tippy-toe to stop this electric bike. So if you need that ability, probably the FF 500 is a better choice for you. But if you are a taller person or need an electric bike that is tall, this is definitely a great choice. The weight capacity, they say it can do up to 330 pounds. So that's a pretty large weight capacity, but this bike does weigh about 100 pounds. So this is not a light electric bike that you can just pick up and go, but it is meant for that because this is an off-road electric bike. You can use it as a commuter electric bike, even with those fat tires and whatnot, but just it is meant to be a beefier electric bike for the higher performance here. Now, another unique thing that you see here is this front screen. We typically don't see a front screen like this, where it is in the front and it is adjustable and also very unique. They actually have like a car cluster style dials here. Excuse the flickering, it is not like that in real life. It's just that refresh right here. It's different from my camera, but it's a really nice design. It's a very unique design here. And then there is the Shimano 7-speed system. This is a great gearing system. We have never had any issues with Shimano. They are using the Tourney system, which is the lowest end of the Shimano system here, but it works great and is proven to work. We have been using Shimano system for a long time and it has never disappointed us. To remove the battery, you just have to use this key to unlock it, and the battery kind of pops out here, and then you can use this twist that is built in here, which will take this lever kind of inside, and then you can pop this out. You just have to turn the tire a little bit. This is a big battery, so it might take you a little bit to figure this out, but once this is out, again, this is a 20 amp hour battery from LG. Here's a quick demo of the front fork suspension in action. As you can see, it does work. And then if you want to lock this here, then the suspension is locked. It just doesn't go down. Again, open this, it goes down. You can adjust the suspension by turning this knob here. So however strong you want or low, and then it just adjusts accordingly here. Let's do a quick demo of the suspension seat post here. As you can see, it does go up and down, and it helps you absorb some of those bumps. So as you can see, I am 5'9", and if I want to stand straight, I have to use my tippy toes here in this bike, and this is the lowest seat setting here. So that just gives you an idea that you really do have to be a somewhat of a tall person to ride this. Now let's talk about the cockpit of this electric bike. Overall, this is one of the best looking cockpits that I have seen around, especially because of some of the new components that they are putting. All these electric bikes that are coming out in the market usually have the same type of a screen, same type of button, but not this one. They kind of stand out here. First of all, this screen that you can fully adjust, which is cool because it allows you to adjust the screen based on your need, based on your height, without needing to remove all those screws all over again and try to put the screws back on. So this is great that you can adjust the screen angle on the go and without any issues right here. So that's pretty great. The screen itself uses a dial system, and unfortunately my camera I think is flickering right now for you all, but it doesn't flicker like that in real life. So this is the screen, and we can actually see it in my camera without the refresh red tripping, where you can see the speed dial here, the trip, odometer, power, and then over here you get some of the other items, such as when I turn on the headlight. That's what you see here. But this is a really nice screen, and it shows the dial with all the information. So let's say if we wanted to turn on the throttle here, we are able to do that, and then you'll see the dial on the speed right there. So this is pedal assist 1, and that's what you see for the maximum speed there. So that's pretty neat. The screen, I really like the screen, how it looks and how it functions. And then these buttons on the left are also different than what you typically see. This has the plus, minus, and the power here. You normally see the same old type of a buttoning system on the left. So this one is unique. I like that. I also really like this handlebar grips here. These are very comfortable handlebar grips, and they have this palm support here, which makes a long journey a little bit easier on this one, more comfortable. So you have that palm support here, which is great. Then there is this twist throttle towards the right. I'm still trying to get used to this half twist throttle because not a big fan of those. I like the thumb throttles here, but this do work great. It's super easy where you have the palm here and then you just pull the throttle and it goes. But I am a big fan of the thumb throttle, as I have said in the past. This works great though, because a lot of electric bike companies are coming with this half twist throttle concept here. Then you have got a Shimano shifter. Everybody seems to be using Shimano, and it works. It's a reliable system. They use that. I believe they are still using Torney for this, which works. It's an entry-level system, but again, there's no issues here. Shifting gears, I can easily do that just while riding my e-bike, so that's pretty great. Then coming towards the left, you have the same grips here, really nice handlebar. I think I would probably put some kind of a cap for this screw here. They should have probably thought about that because if you are just kind of a big person with big palm and you're trying to hold on to here, this might get uncomfortable. But you can remove this and put it upside down, and I think that makes it better. There's this traditional bell, nothing fancy here. I think they should have gone with more of an electronic bell, but it does the job. Then again, there is the hydraulic brakes, which is awesome because the performance is really great on the hydraulic brake. I'm a big fan of hydraulic brake, especially for bikes that go fast, right? Like this one. This one goes 28 miles per hour. You can go fast, and then you can just press on the brakes, and it just instantly comes to a complete stop. So really, really like that, the hydraulic brake system here. And that is everything that you see on the cockpit. The only downside of this cockpit, in my opinion, is this handlebar is a little short. I would have probably liked the handlebar up to here. It's still very comfortable, but it's just a little bit short in my opinion. Cornering is still good. I can still turn and all that. I would have liked it to be a little bit larger. So here we are in pedal assist 1, and when we pull the throttle, the max speed that I'm seeing is 15 miles per hour, 16 miles per hour. Now let's do 2, so pedal assist 2, and we're going to test that speed here in just a second when we pass this curve. So now we're going to pull the full throttle. We're seeing 17, 18 miles per hour, 19, so 19 miles per hour, 20. Looks like it is 20 miles per hour. So we're gonna pull the full throttle on 3. We are seeing 25, 27, 28.1. Wow. So the speed does work. It is 28 miles per hour, which is pretty great because that's not what we typically see here. We see 15 to 16 miles per hour. So our next test is going to be a hill climbing test here. This is a 15% grade. We test other electric bike here as well. So we're going to see how well this one does. What we normally do is we get to the bottom of the hill and then just pull the throttle, no pedaling, and let's see how well it does. I'm sorry again if the speed number is blinking here. That is not the reality. So we're gonna do this. Now I'm gonna just pull the throttle. We are holding it steady at 13 miles per hour. Going up top, that's 13.3 miles per hour. Looks like that's what we're holding, which is not great compared to some of the other electric bike, but for a 750 watt motor, I guess that's fine. It is hauling 180 pound of load here, and it did decent. We're gonna do a quick acceleration test here. Nothing fancy. I just wanted to show you how fast it goes. It is a lot better than some of the other electric bike we have tested. It's not an instant that you go from 0 to 28 miles per hour, but it is pretty great in my opinion. So if we just pull the throttle, as you see, it takes a second to catch up, but once it does, it gets going really quickly. Let's do a quick summary of the performance testing that we did here today. We are able to achieve the full 28 miles per hour range, which is awesome because not a lot of electric bikes do that going up to that high speed. We saw that at pedal assist 1, when you pull the throttle even to the maximum position, you only get 15 miles per hour. When it is pedal assist 2, you get about 20 miles per hour, and pedal assist 3, which is the highest pedal assist level that the bike offers, you get 28 miles per hour. We tested some hill climbing abilities. We saw that at a 15% grade, we are holding steady at 14 to 15 miles per hour. And at a 12% grade, we were doing 16 to 17 miles per hour, which is about average. I was hoping that this would go a little bit higher, but it did provide me with that constant power. It wasn't sluggish when I was pulling that throttle. So it does a great job as power dissipation. I just wish it went a little bit faster, indicating that I think this motor peaks at around 1000 watts. So it is a very high power motor, so I was hoping that it would go a little bit higher, but it does a decent job again. We didn't use any special equipment to test the braking or the acceleration test, but as you saw from my demos here, the acceleration is rather quickly. It's not an instant torque, but it does a great job. We're just talking about a couple of seconds going from 0 to that 28 miles per hour speed. So it does a decent job. The motor works really great. For the brake testing, again, I didn't use any special equipment to test the distance and time and whatnot, but as you saw from my demo, where I was pressing on the brake, it just instantly comes to a stop even from high speed because it has the hydraulic brakes, as I have said in this review multiple times here today. As far as the range testing goes, we got about 38 miles with a full battery, and we still had 1 bar remaining, but this is a very heavy bike, so I didn't let it die completely because I didn't want it to have to pedal on my own all the way back home. So even with the last bar remaining, we were at 38 miles, which is pretty impressive for an electric bike in this class, especially because it has that 20 amp hour battery. Because with a full throttle only mode, which was basically what it was. I barely even did any pedal assist, and it was in pedal assist 3. Even if I did any pedal assist, it was fully throttle mode going around some hill areas, but normally flat areas, and I got 38 miles with 1 battery power remaining. All right, let's bring this review to an end today. We tested this electric bike for the last 3 weeks or so through cold and heat, and it performed really well. This is definitely one of my favorite electric bikes just because it is beefier, it has off-road capabilities. So let's just start with my likes and then we'll move on to my dislikes. I really like a unique design for the front screen. Even though you can hardly see it from the camera, I could see it really well through my eyes here, and I could adjust the screen on the go, which is a really big plus for me. I like the handlebar grips that are comfortable with the palm support. Biggest thing that I like probably are the hydraulic brakes. Big fan of hydraulic brakes. They help you come to a complete stop, especially for such a fast electric bike like this. I like that about this electric bike. They got hydraulic brakes. As you can see, they're very sensitive, and they help you come to a complete stop here. Next, I really like that front fork suspension as well as a suspension seat post. It really does the job. You can hop the curb thanks to its large fat tires. It does very stable and helps you absorb some of those bumps easily. So I'm glad they included a full suspension in the front as well as that suspension seat post in the back. Speaking of the suspension, as I said, the tires, these are 26-inch by 4-inch large fat tires. These are very capable tires. You can go between grass, paved surfaces. You can take this bike off-road and it performs really well. So that's a big plus point for this is supposed to be an off-road mountain bike, and it does the performance well. Unfortunately, I don't have like a true off-roading scenarios here that I can test, but I did go through some gravels and out roads, and it did really well, especially going from paved to the grass surfaces. It doesn't hesitate at all. It's not sluggish. It does the job done. So that's a really good point for this one, because again, this is supposed to be a heavy-duty electric bike. Now, I also really like the design for the battery here, where you can easily remove the battery. You can use the key to remove it. It's built into the stem, making it a little bit easier to charge it. You can take it inside, especially in the winter. We are barely getting out of winter right now, and I had, unfortunately, some of the electric bikes that I couldn't remove the battery, including the Be Cool e-bike that we reviewed here. I couldn't remove it. It's a large battery, but I couldn't remove it, so I had to leave it in my garage. I don't have a place inside, and I am worried with the cold weather that it's not good for the battery for lithium-ion batteries. But this one, I can remove it. I can take it inside. I can charge it inside, so I don't have to plug in. I normally like to have. I have a lot of electric bikes, so what I normally do is have a centralized charging station where I have a bunch of chargers there, and I just take the batteries and charge. And this one fits right there because of the battery type. Now the battery capacity, it's a 20 amp hour battery. This is probably the largest battery we have tested for e-bike in this class. Yeah, there are other electric bikes that are over $2,500 that we had tested, which had like 60 amp hour on some cases, but this is currently it is listed at $1,299. I don't know what it is listed at when you're looking at, but currently it's $1,299. It's not the cheapest bike, but at the same time, under a $1,500 electric bike and having that capacity of 20 amp hour is impressive. Even with the KBO Ranger, it only had 17 amp hour. So this is pretty impressive. We got about 38 miles on a full charge. I know that is not what it is shown on the website, but that is through our testing, and that was barely any pedaling. It was all throttle, and getting that 38 miles, that is impressive, honestly, because if I was doing some pedal assist and I was kind of managing a lower pedal assist level, I could have probably gone that 60 plus miles that they claim. So 38 miles is impressive just for the throttle mode here with this electric bike. So for the range, I am impressed because we don't typically see that type of a good range on electric bike in this class. I also really like the speed of this electric bike. You can go all the way to 28 miles per hour. And we have tested a lot of electric bikes where that was our biggest complaint. It would only go 15.5 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour max. And This one just blows through the roof with the 28 miles per hour. It is a thrilling experience riding this electric bike, if you can tell from the camera here. And being an off-road capable electric bike with this much power, this is just amazing. I like the speed. The hill climbing ability is also great. It doesn't feel sluggish, as we're going through the hill right now here, and it doesn't feel sluggish. It is still pushed through. And there's a hill coming up here. I want to demonstrate it one more time. This is also a pretty decent sized hill here, and it is doing a great job. It is holding steady at 15 miles per hour. And if we go here, this is a big hill, and we're doing pretty great. So hill climbing ability, I have probably seen other e-bikes with a 750 watt motor that held steady at like 16 plus miles per hour, but this one is doing great at 15 miles per hour. As I said, not the best, but does the job well. It doesn't feel sluggish or anything. Now let's move on to some of my dislikes here. I wish the handlebar was a little bit longer. For such a large electric bike, I feel like this is a pretty short handlebar. Does the job, the cornering and all that is easy, but I just wish it was a bit longer here, and not limited to that. I also, the seat is not the most comfortable saddle here. It does get tiring after a while. After putting in 10-15 miles, you start kind of feeling it. So maybe get a seat with a little bit more cushion. That would have been better for this electric bike. Then another thing is the power. No matter how much I go forward, it just shows like under 100 watt of power, which is wrong because this bike is a 750 watt bike, and it should have a larger than that 100 watt rating here. So they got to fix that as well. And then finally, they don't sell you fenders for the price, which is a bummer, because if it is gonna be an off-road electric bike, I think fenders are a must. So they don't have that. Other than that, I really like this electric bike. It has the performance, it has the capabilities, it has the features that we want. It is a bit of a unique design. DYU typically don't make this type of a design on an electric bike. This one is amazing. It is a new for us, new for DYU, and an electric bike that I can stand behind, and I can highly recommend this because, as I said, this is capable. This is high-performing electric bike with a lot of features with just a few downsides. That'll do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again for another e-bike review. If you have any questions about DYU, please let me know in the comment section below. I have a special discount code Shiva Tesla that you can use on any DYU's website. It should help you save some money. Thank you very much. I'll be back again with another e-bike review.